think the message that the Democrats are trying to convey is the message that they have to convey if they're going to win in November, and that is that the last 3.5 years were in fact relatively successful, and that based on the slow but coming recovery, the next 4 years will be even more successful. And so I think what you're going to see is an attempt to highlight the legislative achievements of the last 3.5 years, in particular healthcare reform, but some other important changes. If you think about the repealing of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, an achievement that speaks to a certain constituency of this administration. If you think about the passage of financial reforms, financial oversight reforms, I think this is the sort of legislative achievement that they're going to point to as a success. On the security side, they're going to point to ending the war in Iraq. They're going to point to drawing down American forces in Afghanistan, and very, very importantly, the killing of Osama bin Laden. So I think pointing to the successes of the past and suggesting that the future will be even more successful. That's the message that they're going to have to convey. Of course, it's difficult to say that you're better off now than you were 4 years ago when the economy is still in the tank. And it's very difficult to convince people that, well, the real question is, could we have been worse off than we are today? That's, of course, the question you really want to answer, but that's not a question you win elections with. And again, they're going to have to point to some of these successes, in particular healthcare reform, which until now, the president has been curiously reluctant to embrace. The Republicans have sort of tagged this Obamacare, and it was meant as a prerogative term. But in the last week or so, you've seen him say, yes, Obama cares. And he's embraced his legislative achievement, and it is a massive achievement historically. The first president to get universal health care through the American Congress, something that others have tried but failed at. He's embraced that and going to say, yes, you are better off and your family's better off. Whether or not he can say that in a way that convinces people, that's the open question. This is a president, as Maureen Dowd, a New York Times columnist, said, comes down from the mountaintop every once in a while, tells us what he's been thinking about, and then goes back up to the mountain. And I think that's a fairly apt description of the way this president has conducted himself over the last 4 years. I think he does concern himself with the problems of average Americans, but he hasn't been able to convey that to those average Americans. This is a president who does not regularly interact with members of Congress, which perhaps explains why he's had a difficulty even with his own party in Congress getting his message through, getting his agenda through. He's going to have to re-engage with the voters and say, I know you voted for me 4 years ago. I know you were enthusiastic. I know some of you are a bit disappointed, but don't give up on me yet. And that's sort of the feeling he has to engender in people if he's going to move forward. If he's going to get reelected, he's going to have to once again forge a consensus or forge a coalition out of these individual constituencies. And he's going to have to, perhaps this time more than last time, answer the question, yes we can what? What does Obama stand for in a second term? What is the agenda for the next term? And it has to be more than just, well, I would be better than the alternative.